near the end. Yeah, yeah. Although, interestingly, if you Google the words gold, bell and end, you get this. You do. Now, Mo will be joining us later, and we'll have music from pop sensation Olly Murs, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. He'll give us a number from his new album. But let's get some guests on! From hit sitcom Third Rock from the Sun to Hollywood blockbusters like Inception, Looper and The Dark Knight Rises, this actor is so hot right now, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt! Oh! Oh! Did you do that on purpose? Well, best entrance ever! That's that is fine. That is fine. Yeah. Yeah. Beat that, Tom Hanks! she was made in Dagenham and she clashed with the Titans. Now she's playing the great Joan of Arc on the West End stage. Please welcome one of our brightest British stars. It's Gemma Arterton! Oh! Front row! Front row! Lovely to see you. Hello. You're there. You're there. Beer, you. There. The drink is your clue.
I might have drank some of your wine.
Just listen to this list of films, ladies and gentlemen. Big, Saving Private Ryan, Philadelphia, Castaway, and Forrest Gump. Need I say more? It is the double Oscar-winning king of Hollywood, Mr. Tom Hanks! Wow. You can shove up a little bit.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Yeah, you're all together. All together.
Bring it around.
Welcome back, Tom Hanks.
Good to be always a pleasure to be back. American TV shows are copying you left and right.
Are they?
Yes, they are. Why? Well, American we have no concept of why.
You're welcome.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to be here. With Joan of Arc. My Lord.
Joan of Arc. And, of course, Joseph's here. Your first time.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
But already, I think, best entrance we've ever had.
I'm glad to have.
I mean, you've peaked. There isn't an anecdote you can tell that will beat that forward roll.
You have nightmares every time you come on a show like this. I just hope I don't trip when I'm coming out. Yeah. Then I tripped when I was coming out. So,
you do it on purpose.
No, not at all.
That's when you should have said, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So that I could set it up later.
No, I think it was new shoes. That was new shoes.
These, you mean?
Whoa! Turn down those socks, man. Ouch, look at this.
Sure, yeah, sorry.
You're a rebel, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You're a wild man.
And now this couch is interesting tonight because everyone is playing real people, either from history or from the headlines in films and a play. But before we get talking about all those things, we need to settle a little controversy. There was a picture, you've probably seen this, it was on the internet and in papers and things, and it's this picture here. Now...
Oh, yeah.
So, people were trying to decide if that was Bill Murray or Tom Hanks.
Right. Well, I've been doing a pale imitation of Bill Murray for most of my career, so it actually works out. I know that it's not me because I did not take that picture. Unless I've had a cranial plate shift that, is medicinal. That's not me.
But actually, even looking at you now, it does look very like you.
It does. I could make that face.
Yeah. But don't you have a thing where you think you've got sides?
Oh, I do. Oh, we all know what our good side is. I'll show it if you can come close.
Okay, let's...
a hideously embarrassing close-up.
Okay.
All right, I will show you right now. Should I start with the good side or the bad side?
Good side.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. This is my good side. Now, I don't know why, but I have a jaw, and I have a chin, and I have a, back of the flathead. Actually, could you come around sort of like three-quarters-ish a little bit? Okay, there. Okay, there. Is that it? Come in a little tighter, please. A little tighter. All right, so far, we're still doing okay. It's all right. It's not bad. All right, now, stay there and just watch this. Oh, dear. Look at that. The neck goes away. The nose becomes this malformed thing. I got half a cheek sticking out right here. So I essentially kind of go from Richard Gere to Richard Nixon.
Do you have a side?
Nothing but good stuff.
Gemma, do you have a side?
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
When you do a photo shoot, do you favour a side?
I think this is my better side. But then...
Then we can never work together. Yes, we'd have to do all of our love scenes. I love you, Gemma. I love you. We must leave, but we can never do it.
They did it in the 30s. That's like Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell kind of thing.
And what about yourself, Joseph? Are you aware of a side?
Should I be?
No, I don't know.
Tell me. I
No,
mean, I'm willing to
Shall we
learn.
vote?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Give us
Okay.
Let's by applause only.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
This side.
Liking it. Liking it.
Or...
So now he's got it.
And we just thought, while you're here, to settle things, to avoid confusion in the future, we might reenact that.
Oh, you have an orange jumper?
I do have some. I'm fully costumed.
Oh, great.
I've got some orange things
right,
there.
okay.
Now, Gemma, would you mind being I think she's the mother of the baby. So there's some sunglasses there. And now, would you mind being the baby?
Oh, it'd be my absolutely. Yeah.
You can do that? Actually, that's better.
Oh, this
that's
is
better.
yeah.
Why didn't we think of that?
All right.
Okay, so I'm like here.
You're down, you're down in there. Down you go. There you go. You squeeze in.
Like that.
Yeah, like that, smiling. Okay, and now, there we go. That is really good. That is good.
I think Joseph is the most perfect imitation right there.
That is an instant study. You can keep it.
Isn't life weird? I never thought I'd be doing this.
That's some three very good actors there.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get on to your real jobs. Tom's new movie. This is the much anticipated Sully. I remember the last time you mentioned it, you mentioned what this movie was about, and the whole audience was like, ooh, that sounds good. Because it opens here next Friday, the 2nd of December. And I mean, it's such a great movie because some of the inherent drama we know, or we think we know.
Yeah. That is we all know Act 1. Hero, by pluck and grit, lands a plane in the Hudson River, becomes the hero of the Hudson, and everybody on board survived. Every single person.
It was a miracle.
Little babies, ladies who couldn't walk, everybody survived. It was a miracle. And if you go on YouTube and look at forced water landings, you see what could have happened instead.
And also, I didn't remember that it was really, really cold.
It was January, yes.
So people were in freezing water.
It was miserable. And the extraordinary story is, you see the tugboats, the police, those folks dropped everything they were doing and went right there. I spoke to one guy, he said, how long were you out on the wing? He said, if you would ask me, I would have told you I was out there for an hour. He went back and looked at the actual footage. He was on the wing for 7 minutes. From landing in the water to rescue, 7 minutes. That's an extraordinary thing.
Wow.
Then everything that happens after the movie is Act 2 and 3 of real life. He withstood, it's condensed for the film, but he withstood 18 months of depositions and investigation. He had to answer complicated questions and very common questions over and over again. Why did you do that? Why didn't you try this? What'd you have to eat the night before? Did you have a fight with your wife on the phone? Were you stressed in any way? Why didn't you turn this switch instead of that switch? And he had to answer for himself, to the point of both he and Jeff Skiles, played by Aaron Eckhart, the fabulous actor Aaron Eckhart, had no idea for a year and a half whether or not they were going to keep their jobs, whether or not they would still be able to fly for a living, and whether or not their reputations would be in tatters.
And the real man, Sully, he was around the filming. You've met him a lot.
The real Sully is the most... There he is. His real first name is Chesley, which sounds like a small town off the M1, you know? The Whipsnade Zoo. Hey, let's go to Chesley today. So he goes by Sully. He was very particular about how we portrayed the procedure and the emotions of what the movie was.
Edison, we've got a clip. This is...
Oh, let's watch the clip.
This is the moment when you, as Sully, make the decision about what you're going to do.
Okay. Because This is who the man is. This is who the man is. He said brace for impact for a very specific reason. Brace for impact is essentially say, get ready for a bump. Be prepared for, we're gonna have some turbulence. He did not say, this is the captain. We're going to land in the Hudson River. It's going to be very cold. You know, he didn't give them instructions about what was going to happen because he wanted to keep the panic down to an absolute minimum. Brace for impact, lead forward, do what you're told. Get ready for a water landing means who knows what to 150 some odd people in a plane.
Brace for impact is still quite bowel loosening, I would have thought. I mean, it was nice of him, but.
I'm going to bring this up with him.
Has this made you a more nervous flyer?
Not at all, no. I like adventure in the air. I like it to bump around up there. You ever do this? You ever just try not to like buckle your seatbelt when they're walking around? Kind of like, just hold your hands over it and it's not really in the little thing, just to see if they're going to check you or not. Gotta do it. I like adventure.
Well, you could fly, Gemma.
I think I'm a pretty good flyer. I too quite enjoy a bump. Yeah. But I've been lucky not to be in anything too drastic.
You? I don't want a bump. I keep my seatbelt on, and I don't want any bumps.
Presumably, this is one of those films. They're never going to show this on a plane, are they? Like,
no, what you would imagine, ladies and gentlemen, the in-flight entertainment. It's Sully.
Oh.
Wow. Well,
I've seen Castaway on a plane.
Really? Did they?
Best plane crash in movie history.
They showed that on a plane, really?
No, I just made it up because we're on TV right?
But they do sometimes, and they have a little disclaimer at the beginning. You know, they're going to like, yeah, this contains
This
footage.
will not happen to you.
Yeah, eat up. But now, the thing about you, Tom Hanks, because when we talk to you about films, we always imagine that any director you're in the film, they'll be quite intimidated by having you there.
Oh, gee, I wish.
But this time, the director's Clint Eastwood.
Oh, dear.
So how did that dynamic pan out?
Well, you don't want to get one of those Clint Eastwood looks from him, you know? I can't do it, but, where he just kind of like raises one. He looks at you and you're like... Like, you go, Clint, I have this idea, maybe for the scene, if I do that and I throw that over to Aaron and then you can cut it, it's like... Yeah, it's like that's... there was a guy playing a saxophone in Times Square. I said, we were done with the shot too soon. I said, go over there and give that guy $50 just to let loose with some of those. But he treats his actors like horses. Because when he was doing... There's a great show, Rawhide. I don't know if you're old enough to remember Rawhide. He played Robbie Yates, a Western. And he had all these old directors there who directed movies that made a big deal about yelling action. We're rolling. All right, stand by. This is the take. Everybody ready? Out of 3, 2, 1... Action! And every time they would do that, the horses they were on would bolt, Action! And they'd have to, like, get it. And so when you're in a Clint Eastwood movie, you don't even know the camera's rolling, and you just hear over your shoulder, all right, go ahead. And then, you do it, and sometimes you're doing some pretty hot stuff, and you just keep doing it until you hear him say, that's enough of that. And then you move on, and you're on to the next setup. It's intimidating as hell.
Because that could go either way.
Every time, that's enough of that?
Yeah.
Every time?
Yeah.
Instead of cut, that's enough of that.
No, he'll say stop if it means you're going to do it again. But other than most like, all right, that's enough of that. Hey, thanks for the vote of confidence.
Right. Now, also playing a heroic role is Gemma Arterton, because she is a Joan of Arc in St. Joan at the Donmar Warehouse from the 9th of December till the 18th of February. But you are doing one of those beamed into cinemas all over the world on the 16th of February.
Oh, yes, we are.
Pop that in your diaries now. Plan ahead. Now, George Bernard Shaw, he wrote the play in the 1920s, but now this version is very different, I'm told.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much about it, But,
OK, we'll move on.
No. But I think post-Brexit and post-Trump, I think it's quite interesting.
OK.
Wait, Trump? What? What?
You've been doing your press tour. Yeah. You get home. What? But is it? But you can tell us that it's kind of set now. Is it?
Yeah, it's sort of like as if a medieval saint walked into Deutsche Bank.
Oh, OK. That sounds good. I'm liking it already. And now, in the original play, I think I'm right that you don't, obviously, because it's quite difficult to get through the actresses, but you don't burn at the stake every night. They stop just before that. But are you going to try and do a bit of burning at the stake?
Oh, we don't know yet. We're only midway through rehearsals, so it's still up for grabs. I kind of hope not, because...
Yeah.
Usually that's when you go off and you have a glass of wine. But, yeah, no, I don't know. We'll see. You'll have to come and see it, and then you can find out.
Or we'll just see the Donmars now in ashes, and we'll go, I guess they went with the fire idea.
They went with the fire idea.
But I have to say, you could be burnt at the stake, because you rarely live through anything.
What do you mean?
Well, drowned in oil in Bond, killed by vampires in Byzantium, head cut off in The Voices, stabbed in the back of Clash of Titans, falls into a chasm in Prince of Persia, and possibly worst of all, chokes to death on a piece of bread in Gemma Bovary.
Yes.
Have you ever lived throughout an entire...
There was a period of time where I died every time. I think it's this tragic heroine thing, isn't it? But I have also been resurrected twice. And this will be the third time, because I'm resurrected in St. Joan.
Spoiler alert.
I just saved 20 quid.
And obviously she's a French heroine, but it's set in England.
Yeah.
Because do you live in France now?
No, I live in London, but I work there a lot, so I'm often there.
Because you're French, I mean, you've spoken French in films. I mean, you've...
Yeah.
Which suggests your French is very good, I would say.
Ouais, c'est pas mal. Ah, j'ai entendu que vous parlez français aussi.
Moi, je parle un peu de français, ouais,
Ah,
ouais.
c'est impressionnant.
Ouais. Mais c'est mieux quand une femme parle français, je crois.
Wow.
C'est féminin.
Je suis pas d'accord.
Can I just say, Nigel Farage just thrown his television out the window.
I know who that is.
Do you speak other languages?
Me, no.
Have you ever tried? No.
I know, swear words and a few. I can insult people in Greek and things like that.
Oh, they like it. Insult us. But you travel a lot, and I read somewhere where you have packing down. That is a fine art in the Hanks household.
Well, because often for work, you're going to be gone for a long time, so you got a number of bags you got to have at the ready. So yeah, I have my routine is pretty simple. I strip down completely naked and give myself 2 hours. So I pat around.
That's my routine for something else. 2 hours.
Very nice. Wow.
You got to put, you might be wearing underwear you're going to need, so that you start with a blank canvas and build up from that. The dog, I have a dog that worships me. The dog is often confused by those 2 hours.
Are we going for a walk?
Yeah. You have some ideas that I'm not familiar with.
Listen, we're going to talk about another movie tonight, and it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Snowden, which is another fascinating portrayal of a real figure from recent years. And it's out on December the 9th. Yeah, it is. Now, he's not Julian Assange, he's the other one.
That's true. And I'll admit, I confused the two before really looking into it. They're easy to confuse. Yeah, Julian Assange runs WikiLeaks. Edward Snowden is someone else. And he worked at the NSA and the CIA, just sort of like GCHQ here, I suppose. And he took classified information and he handed it over to journalists at The Guardian, actually. And that information revealed that the government was conducting illegal and, arguably unethical mass surveillance that goes against the Constitution of the United States.
Because he has been kind of really demonized, but he was sort of trying to protect people's rights.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I understand why people call him a criminal. That's because he committed a crime. You know, when he took that classified information, he broke the law. So it's understandable why people would be upset with him. The thing is that the NSA, and by the way, GCHQ, they're also committing crimes. And they're violating freedoms that are enshrined in our Bill of Rights. You know, we have the freedom to have the right to privacy, and the government's not allowed to invade our privacy without a warrant. But what these agencies are doing is just collecting everybody's information through our phones and our computers without warrants, you know?
Because the webcam thing is terrifying.
Yeah, they can turn on your webcam, they can turn on the microphone on your phone, they can turn on the camera on your phone, yeah.
Gemma?
Jeez.
That was a funny noise you just made. Where's your phone? We've got a clip. This is when you, as Snowden, realises the kind of the full spying capabilities of the NSA. Scary. And Edward Snowden, he's in Moscow. He's in exile in Moscow. But you got to spend time with him.
I did, yeah. Before we shot, I went over to Moscow and I sat with him in an office for about 4 hours. I mean, you know, there's other places in the world where you can't stand up and say, hey, I think the government's doing something wrong. We're really lucky to get to live in countries where we can have these kind of conversations, especially here on TV. I'm really grateful. So yeah. I'm happy that he did what he did, just so that we can all be having this conversation right now.
And, of course, I mean, you feel for his parents. Yes. Because obviously other people are affected, and I read, I think it was an interview you gave where you talked about meeting his parents.
Yeah. His parents came to the premiere, and this is the thing about when you play a real-life person. I don't suppose you can meet Joan of Arc's parents, but you know, you get certain feedback when you're an actor, and that's meaningful. It's meaningful when an audience likes the movie, or, you know, it gets good reviews, or maybe it gets good box office or whatever, and that's all great. But when the parents of this guy who stood up for what he believed in and is now living in exile, he can't come home, his mom took me aside and was like, you reminded me of my son. And his dad took me aside and he made sure to look me in the eye and he said, I want to thank you for what you did, because I know this was risky for you, and you're gonna, you know, some people aren't gonna like you for it, but I really appreciate you doing this for my son. And I mean, I've never received feedback like that for an acting job that I did.
It really means something.
It meant so much to me. It really made my year to have those moments with his parents.
And isn't there some hope that Obama one of the last things he does might be to pardon him?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of important and influential human rights groups like Amnesty International and the ACLU that have appealed to President Obama to pardon Edward Snowden, because, you know, ultimately what he did was a great service to the country and to the world. You know, whether Obama will do that or not remains to be seen.
Yeah. I would say that one of the last things Obama will have done in office is to give Mr. Tom Hanks the highest civilian honour in America, the Medal of Freedom.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Well, congratulations.
Did you meet him?
The man himself?
Obama, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've met him a couple of times.
You have?
He's the coolest dude in the room.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I would really like to meet
He
that
is so
guy.
much the man. It's crazy.
And it's one of those things, because you have had so many awards, like, what does that mean?
It's mind-numbing. You know, look, it's the Medal of Freedom, which means somehow, it's funny talking about what you're doing with Edward Snowden. There is this, look, we have something which is the freedom that you're talking about, and I guess it's a look at the work that I've done that has both celebrated it and promoted it and tried to protect it as well. So I can look. I'm with Admiral Grace Potter, the scientist who literally measured out the nanosecond. Her, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, me. This is a pretty good spread.
Wow.
So,
it's quite good company, yeah.
Rubbing elbows at the buffet. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, back in a nanosecond.
Yeah.
The filmmaker Michael Moore, who actually did call out this whole election. I mean, he kind of saw how it was panning out.
Yeah.
He's now said, and he said that he wants you
You know, I thought he was deranged. Was not deranged right up until he said that.
He wants you to run as president.
Yeah, yeah, okay, all right, fine. Yeah.
He says you're the only hope.
Oh, please, please, please. Oh, dear Lord. Dear Lord.
It's just 4 years of your life. Do it, Tom.
Yeah.
If you cared, you'd do it.
I'm not qualified to be the president of the Three Stooges fan club. But
Well,
I might take that job.
right. It is time to meet my next guest. Now, at the Rio Olympics, he won double gold for the second time. He's quite simply the greatest long-distance runner of all time. Ready, steady, Mo. It's Mr. Mo Farah! I like that you've still got running shoes on.
They're comfortable.
At any moment, he could go for a race. Very good. Well, welcome, Mo. Now, are you a bit starstruck?
I am big time. I'm like, ooh.
Because what is it, Captain Phillips, that...
One of my favourite movies of Tom is Captain Phillips, and I've seen The Green Mile. There's so many of them, but my favourite one, because, as you know, I was born in Somalia, and the guy who was acting, who was born in Somalia, Mogadishu, was Barkhad, the guy, and I know him, and I'm like...
You know Barkhad?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was just...
That's like, oh, you're from England? Do you know my cousin? Somalia? If we were to meet backstage and say, hi, I'm from Somalia, I'd say, hey, do you know Barkhad Abdi?
That's what happened in Somalia. Like, everybody knows each other, and it's just... It's a small world.
But you and he must be like kings. It was like, yeah, they've done very well. They've done very well. Now, double. That's something else. Round of applause for that. But I don't know, because in America, maybe you didn't follow the story, but you really put the nation through it. Because when you tripped right at the start of the 10,000, there you are. Like, when you got up again, did you think, is it worth bothering now?
No, but there was a point where I had to make a split decision, was, you know, you go down and you get nervous, and it's just, you panic. Every human does. You panic and you're like, oh my God, I've just fallen down, it's over, race is over. But I just had to get over it and think, God, I worked 4 years for this. I can't let that happen. I was just like, just be patient, be patient. And secondly, I promised my daughter, Rihanna, I was going to get her a gold medal. So for her birthday, I told her I was going to get her a gold medal because I was training so hard.
Wow. That's a motivation.
Yeah. I got 4 kids, and the twins, they got 2 medals from London. And then my son got a medal now, and Rihanna was just the one only missing. And as an 11-year-old, you know, they ask questions, Dad, this. And she kept asking me, she goes, you got the twins medal, where's my medal, where's my medal? I was like, that was years ago, like a couple of years ago. I'm like, OK, I worked towards it, and I couldn't let her down. That's what kept me going.
So, do you need to have another child to get another gold medal? Is that how that works? Is that part of your training? Now, you brought out a DVD. This is a sort of a film. It's all about the lead up to Rio and your experiences in Rio. Is that right?
Yeah, it's basically about my life and what it takes to be a champion. And, you know, I've got 4 kids, and it's not easy, you know, having 4 kids, and I'm away 6 months of the year. It's basically going inside of my life, what I do day in, day out. And I just want to get, you know, show people...
So if you were an aspiring athlete, or if you... I mean, will it help people with motivation and stuff?
I hope it does, because that's the whole point of doing these DVDs. You know, the people out there just see you on TV, like, and think, oh, my God, I could never get up there. But you can, you know. I started at the age of 12, and it's just been hard work, and year after year, and now finally, you know, what I have achieved. I didn't dream of myself, you know, becoming 4 times Olympic champion. Once, I remember watching Sydney Olympics and thinking, I want to become Olympic champion, and then, you know, leading up to it, Beijing, I didn't even make the final, and then I had to wait for another 4 years, and then London, do double, and then another 4 more years when Rio was just, you know, incredible.
It really is. And actually, what's interesting is seeing you again, because when were you on the show before? Like, it must be...
After London?
Was it just after London?
Maybe, yeah.
Like, you're like a different person. You're so kind of, you know, self-assured? Because the last time you were quite nervous and, and now you're just like, yeah, Tom Hanks, whatever. Yeah.
I've watched too many movies.
Yeah.
Well, you know, hey, man, he's been to Rio. Once you get back from Rio, it's all...
No Easy Mile is the name of the DVD. It's out on Monday the 5th of December. And here's a little taste.
He's unquestionably one of the very best.
What's your ambitions? Olympics?
For the last 6 years, I've been away from my family 6 months of the year. You know, good is not enough to win a gold medal. You've got to be excellent. You only get one chance, one moment, and this is my moment.
Wow. Very good. Now, running, as a very sexy sport, proof of that is Mr. Tom Hanks. Because I believe your wife, one of her favourite scenes is you running.
Oh dear, the running away scene. Yes. Every interview will be about Forrest Gump at some point. You know, you'll have the same thing. You'll be answering questions about St. Joan for the rest of your life. I had done not the workouts, but I had worked out quite a bit, and it was all about running. And I must say that my buttocks, as Forrest would say, were as firm as tinned hams. They were just the. I mean, look, I've seen the movie and I've seen it, and every now and again, if it comes by on the cable, my wife will say, "Just leave it here, honey. I just want to see that one scene where you're running away from the camera, and we can look at that fine Hank's ass." It's not there anymore. But in the day, man, it was. I mean, I must say, I even think it's a beautiful thing to behold.
And actually, there's another link between Mo and Tom, because the last time you were on, you remember those memes that people would do, the Mo Farah running away from things? So, Mo Farah running away from a bear, Mo Farah in a bull run, Mo Farah in The Sound of Music. And there is one of Mo Farah running away from Forrest Gump. Oh, really?
One of the reasons, like, I've always remember Tom, and obviously it's amazing what he does. Says, when you go for a run, Forrest, run!
Which is very...
But it's a nice thing, it's a compliment.
It's lovely, yeah.
You've got to think, you go to all that trouble of becoming a famous runner, and they're still calling you another name. How hard is Mo?
Run, Farah, run. Maybe that could work. See, there you go. Run, Farah, run. Take it, folks. It is my gift unto you.
They are. Actually, could you do a lovely thing, Tom? Could you do a lovely thing? Just because Mo's here, he's the greatest runner in the world. Could you do the line from Forrest Gump where he suddenly discovers how much he likes running?
I would happy to do it, but you must show the lady with the cue card, because otherwise people will think that I've actually memorized this. Show the lady with the cue card, cut over to her, just show it. See,
there she is, she's there.
Now, I will in fact do it. Okay, so it goes.
This is for you, Mo. This is
for you, Mo. And now you wouldn't believe it, me, if I told you, but I could run like the wind blows. From that day on, if I was going somewhere, I was running good. Be careful. Be careful. Don't embrace the hips too much.
It makes us happy. All right, it's time for our musical performance. This man has gone from X Factor hopeful to one of Britain's biggest music stars. Performing his single Years and Years, it's Olly Murs! Well done. Have a seat, dude. Joseph, Gemma, Tom, Mo. Marvelous. And thanks for bringing the whole circus to town. That was a lot of people.
There were a lot of people out there. No, it was great, so thank you for having me.
And that was an exclusive, wasn't it?
Yes, exclusive Years and Years from the new album, 24 Hours, so...
Ka-ching!
Yeah, just for you guys.
And album #1.
Yes, number one last week.
So. No, that's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. So
But you are like a proper hard grafter worker. Because I think I follow you on Twitter because I see everything. And you've been plugging away. You're doing everything. Breakfast shows, kids shows, everything. You're just working.
I'm everywhere. No, I love my job. I think all of us, I think, we just love what we do. So it's, I love music, love doing it. So, yeah, just get out there as much as I can, yeah.
But, like, so, Olly Murs, he's young. You would think of all the people here who would understand how social media works, be him. I'm older than time. Every time you're on this show, I have to explain again how Twitter works.
Thank you. What
You put it on Twitter, people can see it, Olly.
I know, but you know, you're giving the fans what they want on Twitter, aren't you? Just giving them
The
everything.
fans didn't deserve this, I feel, Olly.
Were you packing for a trip?
What was going on in your head? I get that you got a bit drunk and you dropped... By the way, can I just say, for your skin tone, those shorts are an awful choice. It looks like loose skin has fallen down your legs. But anyway, so I get it. You're having a laugh. You took the picture, but did you need to tweet it, Olly?
I'm sorry.
Well, no, you look lovely, and Gemma's getting quite the eyeful there. So...
It's on my profiles.
Lovely. And when are you going to be touring this album? Presumably
I'm going to be touring next year. So in March next year, we're going to be touring up and down the country, starting in Glasgow, doing the O2, everywhere. It's going to be brilliant.
Well, always lovely to see you.
Thank
Come
you,
back
guys.
again.
Pleasure.
Olly Murs, everybody.
Thank you.
Now, nearly it. Before we go, we have time for a visit to the big red chair. Who have you got?
Oh, dear.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Adam Shaw, Graham.
Adam?
Yes,
OK.
sir.
And what do you do, Adam?
I'm an actor.
And where are you from?
I'm from Pudsey.
Pudsey?
That guy actually looks familiar to me.
You know him?
Have we ever worked together?
All right, well, let's get it back. Let's get it back.
Is he allowed to be back in the chair?
Yeah. Go back. Adam?
Whoa.
Oh, there he is, Adam. Oh, OK. Joseph took a Ginyu, but Tom thought you looked familiar.
I am, hopefully, yeah. I owe Tom quite a lot because my very first acting job, I was Saving Private Ryan. And on paper, it looked great. You know, I'm working with Tom, one of the best screen actors going, working with Spielberg, one of the best directors, well, still the best director in the world. So on paper, it looked great, but then on my first day, I realized that I couldn't swim, and they threw me over, obviously, you know the movie, they threw me over the landing
Oh,
craft.
That's right. We were in the Higgins boats together.
And I like... I'm actually from Pudsey, which is in Leeds, which is, you know. And then they put me in a fireproof suit, and I'm going, where's the fire? So then I was about to get burned to death. I don't know. But Tom, do you remember the AD showed me the action? He put me in the water with you.
Yes.
And I turned to you and I said, I've no idea what I'm doing.
You were just out of drama school.
That was it. Yeah. And that was the moment I told you, and we both questioned why I was there.
Yeah.
Is the end of this story that Tom Hanks saved your life?